watching ITV with the latest news from the heart of the region.
Hello, very good evening to you. The Greater Manchester Dr. Harold Shipman has been charged with a further 7 murders. Dr. Shipman is now accused of killing a total of 15 women patients. Rachel Harrison has the story.
As part of a 7-month investigation, Greater Manchester Police have already exhumed the bodies of 12 of Harold Shipman's former patients. It's understood today that 6 of the new charges relate to patients who were cremated rather than buried. The doctor who ran a one-man practice in Hyde was today accused of killing 76-year-old Muriel Grimshaw, 57-year-old Maureen Ward, 81-year-old Maria West, 77-year-old Lizzie Adams and 68-year-old Pamela Hillier, all from Hyde. Detectives have also charged him with murdering another 2 patients, both from G Cross, 65-year-old Nora Nuttall and Laura Wagstaff, who was 81. The doctor, who was flanked by 2 security guards at the 10-minute hearing, smiled only once at his wife as he was being led away from court. He's due before Manchester Crown Court again on March the 1st for plea and directions in the case of Muriel Grimshaw. The 6 other cases have been adjourned until March the 11th and 12th. Greater Manchester Police is today refusing to confirm if their inquiry is drawing to a close. The 52-year-old GP has already pleaded not guilty to 4 murder charges.
A permanent memorial to the victims of the Hillsborough disasters to be built at Sheffield Wednesday's ground. It follows a 10-year campaign by the families of those who died. Kerris Griffiths reports.
Sheffield Wednesday have always steadfastly refused to put up a memorial at the Hillsborough ground, but now appear to have had a change of heart. The proposal was put to the Hillsborough Family Support Group a fortnight ago by officials from both Liverpool and Sheffield Wednesday. Last night, relatives voted overwhelmingly in favour of the scheme. Rose Robinson, who lost her 17-year-old son Stephen in the tragedy, says the move will help heal old wounds in the 10-year-long dispute between Liverpool fans and Sheffield Wednesday.
There has been a rift between the supporting fans, and hopefully once a memorial is erected, maybe this rift will be healed, because, I mean, let's face it, we really don't want any antagonism between different sets of fans, and this might well help to, heal that rift.
Well, I'm glad there's been the change of heart. I don't think Sheffield Wednesday should feel in any way it reflects on them as a club. It was a national disaster, and we should recognise it as such.
It's not yet clear why Sheffield Wednesday have had a change of heart, but the memorial, described as substantial and permanent, will be built in a prominent position, probably on the south side of the ground. But unlike the one which stands outside Anfield, it won't bear the names of the 96 fans who died. Sadly, the new memorial won't be ready in time for the 10th anniversary of the disaster, which is on April the 15th.
Opponents of hare coursing have warned there could be trouble at this year's Waterloo Cup, which begins in West Lancashire tomorrow. This report now from Andy Gill.
The Waterloo Cup at Old Carnear Formby traditionally attracts large crowds who support the coursing of hares by dogs. An equal part of the ritual these days is the noisy demonstration by opponents. The League Against Cruel Sports says it expects a large police presence this year because of what it calls government intransigence on protecting hares has created a volatile situation.
Every MP literally receives hundreds of letters on animal issues throughout any one year, and they are hopeful that we will see an end to this utterly barbaric and hideous process within a very short amount of time.
But supporters say 7 out of 8 hares escape, and they say they're the conservationists.
Gamekeepers look after the habitat, keep down predators, both animal and human. There's no poaching, and so there's a high population of hares simply because of coursing.
The thousands of people who gather here at Oldcar for tomorrow's Waterloo Cup are well aware that a Labour government could in fact bring in laws to ban hare coursing. But they point out that 300,000 people joined last year's countryside march, and the government, they say, can't ignore them.
Police are tonight praising a 74-year-old widow from the Wirral who fought off a mugger as he attacked her in a graveyard. 74-year-old Joan Forsyth was tending her husband's grave on Rake Lane Cemetery at Wallasey with her daughter Christine Riley yesterday afternoon. Suddenly, a man brandishing a stick crept up behind Mrs. Forsyth, grabbed her by the throat and stole her handbag. When Mrs. Forsyth's daughter tried to intervene, the thug punched her in the face and then fled towards Mrs. Riley's Blue Golf saloon. Mrs. Forsyth was so enraged by the attack that she grabbed the stick the attacker had wielded and even threw a pot of flowers from the grave at the car. When that failed to stop the man, the 74-year-old actually leapt on the vehicle.
I was so angry. I really hate to say this, but I would have held that man if I'd have got to him. And then when he ran off, I ran after him and got to the... still had the piece of wood in my hand for some unknown reason, and I got to the car while he was trying to start it, and I was bashing the windscreen, hopefully thinking it would break, but of course it didn't.
While not recommending this course of action for all senior citizens, the Merseyside Police say Mrs. Forsyth gave a good account of herself against a cowardly bag snatcher. Finally tonight, Coronation Street's 39th barmaid is to pull her last ever pint. The actress Holly Newman, who plays Lorraine Brownlow, is quitting the show after less than a year. The programme's producers aren't renewing her contract, and the 24-year-old will leave the street in a storyline involving a family row. And that's the news so far tonight. Our next bulletin is at 6:10 in GMTV, but from me and the team here, it's a very good night to you.
Granada Television's weather, sponsored by Stay Bright Windows and Conservatories. The clear choice in any weather.
Today's satellite picture shows well-broken cloud inland and hence some sunshine. Shower clouds along the coast, though, which produce some wintry outbreaks, and more cloud to the left of your screen, which will move in during tomorrow afternoon. For tonight, at least, there's always going to be the risk of further wintry showers. These are most likely across, say, parts of North Wales, West Cheshire and Merseyside. Elsewhere, it should be dry with clear periods. Temperatures falling to around -1 or even -2 Celsius on the hills, so a frosty night is expected. Having said that, it should remain just above freezing along the west coast. Those winds will start to ease by morning and still from the northwest. Tomorrow, mostly dry but fairly bright and sunny start is expected. It will cloud over though as we go through into the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow are expected to reach a high of 6 Celsius, winds very light, and from the south a quick look at Wednesday, it's mostly dry with some sunshine.
For a more detailed 5-day outlook, call Weather Update on 0891 55 99 77.